Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of We Can Fix It, where we work together, we can fix just about anything. My name is Danny, and this is my 1987 Chevy S10 BLAZER. It has a cranking issue, and today we will fix that. Let's grab our tools and get started. So this is the battery terminal. As you can see, it is very, very corroded, and it really needs to be replaced badly. There is no way this thing is making a good connection to the battery. It can barely move. So here I am opening up the hood to my BLAZER, and we're going to get started. I'm going to have to list the actual other sized socket below, but this first socket I'm using is an 8mm. It is standard for most batteries that run a side post. So you just take it off the battery, and if you watch me right here as I'm taking it off, you'll see when I get it disconnected from the battery, I try the terminal end right there, and I cannot turn it by hand. It is that bad. Now you take the other size socket and you disconnect the wires from the terminal end. There's 2 bolts there. You just disconnect them. One of the wires goes to that alternator that's off to the right corner, and the other wire goes straight to the battery. That is pretty common for this year's Chevy and most older Chevy vehicles. So it just takes a little bit, and you can disconnect them. We're going to take another look at this. As I open it up, you can see exactly where the wires go into it. And you can kind of see the corrosion that's all over that sucker. It is not shiny whatsoever. And I was having horrible trouble trying to crank this vehicle. And this is the root of the issue. It could not make a good contact, so it needed to be changed. Now this is one that is actually corroded. That will need to be taken off and cleaned. It can make a bad connection and cause issues down the road. This is what it's actually supposed to look like after it's cleaned. It's not supposed to have no corrosion on it whatsoever. This is another type of terminal that goes on older cars, and you can use it on some newer vehicles. The issue here is as you can see, the sucker is actually painted. Now where my finger is right there, it'll have paint in there, and if it has paint in there, it will not make a good connection. It won't start, it won't charge, it'll have a whole bunch of issues. So just if you get one and it's painted, it's safe to just go on ahead and take a wire wheel or a brush or something like that and just knock the paint clean off of that sucker so it can make a good connection. And it will be some paint on the inside of that terminal as well. So you have to put something inside of that terminal to knock the paint off the inside of it. So when you put it on the battery, it'll make a good connection. So essentially, we're going to do this in reverse. We're going to take and loosen up them 2 bolts by hand until we can fit both of the wires back up in that terminal end. Now you need to clean them wires. And I already cleaned them, and that's how I found this terminal end to be bad, and figured I would make a video on it to show you how to change it out. So you slide both of the wires back up in the designated area. As you see, I needed to loosen it up a little bit more so the wires will fit. Make sure that you put both or all of the wires that come out back into that terminal end, because if you miss out and do not hook up your starter wire, it won't crank. And if you do not hook up your alternator wire, it'll crank. But a while down the road, you'll be wishing you paid attention, because it will kill the battery. I'm tightening them 2 bolts up right now. And you can tighten these, you're supposed to tighten these off of the battery. You cannot over tighten these while they are in your hand. It is almost impossible to over tighten a terminal end while it's in your hand. And that's the best way to tighten them. If you tighten them on the battery, you can strip the threads out of the battery. You could damage the battery. You could even break the terminal end. Uh, so it is highly recommended by me just to tighten them by hand. And you can see here it's already tight. Just snugging it up a little bit more. And you give a tug on the wires as well. Just make sure that they're seated in there and they're not going to come out. I have a wire loom on this to protect the wires a little bit better. And then I'm going to take and put that little 8mm bolt back into the battery. All right. Now, when I use this wrench, if you pay attention, don't over tighten this 8mm bolt. Again, you can strip the threads clean out of the battery. So if you look, I'll just get a little snug and give it just a little bit past that. And that's it. That's all you need. Make sure it doesn't move, and you're good to go. Wow, that was rough. The video was actually the very first video I shot for the YouTube channel for We Can Fix It. And we're going to try to work towards doing more live action shots instead of actually doing voiceover work. Hopefully that will be soon. We do still have a whole lot of stuff to show you that we have been working on and completing. And we hope to see you next time here on We Can Fix It, to where if we work together we can fix just about anything.